So let's start with sleep. Sleep is actually I would say one of the most neglected things, but it's also it's like the number one predictor of emotional stability is good sleep. But I think too many people, and I think this is just part of our society's fault, we diminish the importance of sleep, and we live in this world of like constant stimulation, especially nowadays with the screens and the lights and the blah, all the stuff 24/7. We don't prioritize good sleep. And as a result, many of us are suffering from sleep deprivation. And it's not good for us. It's not good for our moods. It's not good for our attitudes. It's not good for behavior. It's not good for relationships. So prioritizing sleep is probably one of the best places to start and one of the most important things you can do. One of the things that we did several years ago is I literally printed out a list, and actually I could get this and put it in the course, of the number of hours of sleep that each person in the family needed. Because that was also important for everyone to understand. I need more sleep than Greg. Greg needs less sleep than...
Say that differently.
Women need more sleep than men. Teenagers need more sleep than adults. Children need more sleep than practically everyone. So and because we are geared mostly to teens right now, that's the information I have right here, but I can share that chart. Like I was saying, teens need 8 to 10 hours of sleep, and most teens are getting 5 to 7. They're just not getting enough sleep. And so one of the reasons we have bad attitudes from our teens is simply because they're sleep deprived. They are growing, they're going through massive changes in their brain and in their hormones. And in order for that to happen effectively, they need 8 to 10 hours of sleep. Now, it also is very important when they get those hours of sleep. All sleep is not created equal. If you sleep 8 to 10 hours starting at, say you go to bed at 4 a.m., 1 a.m. or 4 a.m. and sleep for 8 to 10 hours, it's not the same as if you go to bed at, say, 11 p.m. and sleep for 8 to 10 hours. Because many of the very important recovery that's happening in our bodies happens between midnight and 2 a.m. And there's simply things that happen then that you won't get if you're not asleep. You just miss it.
Okay, so specifically, as soon as you fall asleep before midnight, there's a growth hormone that gets released. And if we miss that, you don't get it back. You don't make up for it the next day. You don't make up later in the night. Like if you miss it, you miss it. So think about that. Your body releases a growth hormone before midnight that you need, that you can't get back if you miss it that day. So like all of us need to get in bed as often as we can, ideally somewhere around 10:30-ish. Kids maybe a little bit earlier than that, but we've got to get. I could geek out about this. Like I love the science of sleep. I could get all nerdy and get all into this, but getting to bed and sleeping well is so critical.
This is an important reality. I think my hard thing is with 4 kids, including a baby and a toddler, and homeschooling, I feel like I have to stay up late to catch up on housework, but then I lose sleep. Sometimes I still prefer that because if I have a messy house, I feel so ornery and crazy all day. I'm constantly trying to find the balance. And that's real. I remember that as well. Now, once in a while, that's fine. But I think the most important thing is that the majority of the time, we must prioritize the sleep because it creates a sleep debt, right? Now, there's certain things you can't catch up on, but you can pay back a sleep debt. But if you have this ongoing chronic sleep debt, then that is going to contribute to the ongoing irritability and poor attitudes and forgetfulness and a lack of clarity and like brain fog, all these other things, right? Low motivation, emotional outbursts. All of that's going to happen if we are operating in a sleep debt, and the same with our kids. And so my approach was always to integrate more of the cleaning up in the day. And of course, there's just a natural phase of life where when the kids are small, it's going to be a little bit messier. As they grow up and they learn how to pick up more themselves, like then it starts to get cleaner and it's easier to take care of it. When they're all small, it is just going to be messier. And I just had to remind myself, like, it's temporary. It won't last forever. I know it feels like forever right now, but it's not forever, right?
Couple quick thoughts on that. If you can hire some help, like if this is ongoing, you're like, I am going crazy because the house is a mess, but I can't do it because I'm being a mom or a parent
And trying to sleep.
and trying to sleep, especially with a baby. Oh my goodness. Hire some help. If it's even one day a week. We've had lots of friends. We've done this ourselves. Like, okay, we're waiting for Thursday when the cleaners come, and they come and clean the whole house, and we'd enjoy it for like an hour or two before the kids got back at it. But it was like, I know the house is going to be cleaned up. So outsourcing was huge.
I think it's important to have this perspective. We like to share this perspective because it's not something that we're often aware of as Americans, but having lived in many other countries, it's actually not normal for a mom to be at home by herself with her kids doing it all. That's not normal. The rest of the world does not do that. It's a very Western thing. It's an American, British thing. In most countries, families have support. They have either hired help or they live with extended family. And so they have help. So this thing of like, I'm doing it all and taking care of the kids and homeschooling, that it's not normal. Now, it's not your fault because we don't know that. That's how I grew up. That's how we grew up. There's nothing wrong with getting help. In fact, that's completely normal and healthy. So yeah, and you can hire it, you can get friends, you can do a co-op type thing, you can whatever, like get creative, but find out ways to get help because that's just healthier for everyone involved.
And then this is where Rachel's charts and systems come in, where even the little older ones definitely could start picking up more of the slack, and is kind of part of the fun process and engaging, where they actually start helping out a lot with some training and conditioning. They end up carrying a much bigger part of the load during the day. You'd be surprised, you guys, how helpful your kids can be when you teach them how to do it, and that starts to take that off your plate. So you're like, okay, this is working.
Yeah.